Hi, good evening, Rohan. It's lovely to see you after a very long time, and thanks a lot for taking time to inspire our student community. So, Rohan's journey is really inspiring from being a small town kid who struggled with English to studying from prestigious colleges like IIT Delhi, IIM Calcutta, and currently he coaches and mentors CEOs and CFOs. He has trained and mentored more than 5,000 people. And not just that, he's a successful author too. His book, High Conflict, By Conflict, deals with basically how to get teams to collaborate despite conflict. So, this is quite a lot of achievement, Rohan. Sounds more like a Bollywood movie. And Rohan is also an excellent singer, and he has been my singing partner, and I have thoroughly enjoyed singing with him. So it's a pleasure, Rohan, to have you here. So,
Thank you for calling me here.
yeah, thanks. So I'm really eager to know how your childhood was, and आपकी माँ आपको क्या खिलाती थी?
So, I'm going to answer it from the beginning,
Yes.
and also I'll keep the language mixed in between Hindi and English, and I'm uh, I'm assuming that the audience are typically engineering students or other people mostly like me. And so I can tell you I was born and brought up in Jaipur in a family which has medium financial background. So I think my biggest challenge was that at home हम लोग हिंदी बोलते थे, and now in my school from 9th class onwards, it was compulsory to speak in English, and I just couldn't speak in English. So मैं सिर्फ हिंदी की क्लास में क्वेश्चन पूछता था, and I had a lot of fear of public speaking, and actually बहुत सारा inferiority complex था, and so उसके बहुत सारे cost हुई, मतलब it costed me a lot in terms of when I went to do engineering. So engineering के end में कोई भी MBA entrance हो, कोई भी कंपनी का इंटरव्यू हो, most of the time since इतने सारे लोग अप्लाई करते हैं, तो they have to shortlist by group discussion. So I failed every group discussion because group discussion में can you imagine what I used to be thinking? पहला तो अपने को इंग्लिश नहीं आती, फिर आएगी तो ग्रामर नहीं आती, सेकंड अगर वो सब है तो आइडिया नहीं है. So I had so much complexes that I was dreading whenever I participated in any group discussion, while I was hoping that the person will select me. But so one, I could not take any initiative in speaking in any GD. And if by chance a mic comes to me or the moderator says कि तूने कुछ भी नहीं बोला सारे टाइम, तो तू कुछ तो बोल. So even that time I would simply end up saying I agree or something, and someone will take away the mic from me. And I also remember I had this FMS entrance exam for MBA. So वहां पे क्या होता था, FMS का एक स्टाइल होता था कि other than interview etc, they will ask you to speak on a new topic for a minute. So मुझे भी वो पता था, सारे टाइम मेरे को डर लगा रहा कि ना वो क्या टॉपिक दे देंगे, and whatever topic they gave I didn't utter a word. मतलब अब तो मेरे से बुलाओगे तो मैं पूरा 4 घंटा लगा दूं उसी टॉपिक पे. Sleepless nights was the topic, and I couldn't speak a word because I was so much stuck in my inability to speak English. And this continued. IIM Calcutta also, I had this issue of in group discussion I didn't speak a word. So I think that was my story in the school, and I covered it by by being very sincere, by being a nice boy, by attending all classes. And so between two choices, when you have better marks, then you are treated better. That's what I noticed in the class. But it didn't help. All the marks, I ended up being one of the toppers in both colleges, but the inferiority complex of not being able to speak in public or English it continued even after IIM Calcutta. So that is a short story.
So, did it affect your social life also?
Yeah, see, it does. It affected more because not because of just English, but your confidence is low. So if your confidence is low, then obviously, who would want to deal with people with lower confidence? So I think in that sense, social life got impacted. Balance, you cover it up with degrees and dropping names and all that. So I basically tried my best to cover my inferiority complex, and my I later someone told me that what I did was I thought that deep inside who I am is should not be shown to anyone. So I covered myself with a burqa and kept decorating the burqa with degrees and ranks. So that is how. And what I would say is chasing excellence doesn't help in this area.
But from what I have seen now, you are fluent, you're eloquent, you've even authored a book. So it's not just oratory skills, even writing skills. So how was this journey of learning English? How did you actually crack it?
I don't know if I ever cracked it, but I think what made a huge difference is in 1997, when I was 27-year-old, I met a mentor who was 75-year-old, and he shifted the way I looked at life. So first thing he said that so far you have been trying to impress people in speaking English, etc. So shift the orientation that instead of impressing, you have to inspire or empower or cause an action. So, and the key difference was impressing means it's about me. I want attention, I want appreciation, and I want things. While inspiration or causing action you have broadened yourself. You are thinking of others, of the audience, of the person in front, chahe wo senior or chahe junior ho. But basically so that was one big turning point. And he also basically told me one thing which I that time found very interesting. He said, तुम ये सोचो you are a courier boy. मैंने कहा भाई इतनी पढ़ाई इसलिए करी थी courier boy. तो he said नहीं, imagine that courier boy का क्या होता है, उसके पास एक courier है. Then he has to deliver it to the house, whatever the address is, and he has to take a proof of delivery. So similarly, you have a packet of thoughts and ideas in you, and now you have to deliver it to the audience. Now audience can be one person or many people, but आपको वो deliver करना है, and you'll get proof of delivery in the eyes of the audience or in their action. So look at that. So उसमें disappear yourself from the communication, make the other person present and the objective present. And I think that is where the shift happened. And see, remember, I could get written marks very well, GRE, वो सब हो जाता था. But speaking I discovered that the issue was not just with grammar. The issue was from where I was coming from. So the big issue was the inferiority complex of the background.
So, would you say it's not just you, because English is sort of a status symbol in our country, and it actually divides the privileged and the underprivileged. So, do you think there may be many people out there wherein it's not just that they are not able to communicate or present themselves, but along with that, it affects their mindset and their confidence and their working?
Yeah, I do think that in current times, आज के जमाने में English आना, being able to speak and understand, से बहुत सारे फायदे वैसे हो जाते हैं. One, that lot of useful books are written in English. Lot of communication in corporate world happens in English, unless you are really in a government organization where वहाँ पे भी हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों चलाना पड़ता है. And so if you want to be spread your wings, so English helps in spreading your wings. And across the world when you travel, so like we went to whichever country we went to, वहाँ पे English is one common denominator, that just knowing English got us through whatever language that country was speaking, whether it was German, whether it was French or Spanish. But I don't know any of those language, but knowing English took me through. And I think any bigger corporate organization will have this benefit of speaking English. Yeah.
So would you say when a person is trying to master the language or just learn how to communicate? Yeah.
Just
So what I was asking you was, is there a shift in mindset that is required? It's like you said, it's not just about grammar, but it's more about the mindset, because that is not one thing that any of the English courses teach. The focus is not on that. Basically, they keep telling you practice, and they also keep telling you focus on reading and listening and grammar and all those things, whatever the LSRW skills that are required to improve a language, master a language. Everybody focuses on that. So do you think there is a major focus that is required on shifting mindsets? So as educationists, should we also look at that other than just helping them with the language?
Yeah. In fact, I would say that, see, there are 4 levels in life. One is straight actions. What do you do? Now, before actions, you have to have words. Whatever you said, you promised, etc. Before words will come thoughts. So thoughts is detailed plan, etc. in my head before even I spoke, or wrote them. Now, before thoughts is who you are being. And what is your mindset, what kind of person are you, what is your belief in the world. If you are continuously running that story inside, that I am not good enough, or I have not got a good deal, I should have got a better background, my parents should have been richer, if your story is that, then you will continuously either be jealous of others who have a better background, or you will try to keep competing with them, trying to impress them, or you will try to please them. So a lot of your thoughts, words and actions will be governed by who you are being. So I would always say is you want to communicate well is the one objective, not communicate well in English. First objective is communicate well, and second is even if I'm a very good communicator, but if my intention is to impress, then all that communication is a waste, because people will get put off very soon that this guy is showing off, using jargons and all of that. So basically, when we are saying speak in English well, but before that, communicate well. So I would think that priority is not perfect spoken English, but priority is good quality communication from a space which is strong rather than inferior. So communicating from a space of equal. So if I communicate from an inferior space, I'll keep trying to please you, or I'll keep trying to show off, मैंने ये किया था, मैंने वो किया था. If I come from a higher place, then I'll start patronizing people. कि तुम्हें आता नहीं और मैं तुम्हें सिखाता हूँ और बताता हूँ. So people hate both. So coming from a place of equals, that we are all privileged in our own way coming on this earth, even if our backgrounds are different. And if people, some people appeared कि इनको तो English बचपन से मम्मी पापा बोलते थे, तो इनके तो बहुत ही easy हो गया. So they'll have their own issues. So one is, I'm saying, communication to inspire rather than impress. Second, clear accent will definitely help, because if you are muddling things and eating your end of the statements, etc., then people can't remain with you. So clean, without noise, basically without noise speaking. If you have an accent, people start counting how many times this person said this, like so there are some people who keep punctuating the things, like I punctuate a lot of things with So then more important is also being crisp and precise to the point. So come to the point, because everyone has limited time. So if they have more time, they will then later offer you time if they really liked what you said. And very, very important is communicating authentically rather than with a hidden agenda or with a agenda of pleasing. And also very important is, so not beating around the bush, and then staying connected with the person in front rather than just vomiting your stuff. So lot of time I have noticed, आई थिंक बच्चों के साथ शायद होता ही होगा, उनको स्टेज पे भेज दो तो उनको तो खट 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 सारा बोलना होता है जो भी उनको बोला बता के भेजा था. बट लॉट ऑफ अस आई हैव नोटिस्ड कि वी हैव लॉट ऑफ एंजाइटी कि अब ये सारा बोलना है, अब जाके कैसे भी बोल दो. मतलब समटाइम यू विल फाइंड व्हेन यू आर स्पीकिंग, सामने वाले को वो चाहिए ही नहीं जो आप प्रिपेयर करके आए. सो इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू जस्ट पॉज, say less, listen more, but listen more from a place of equal, not from a place of कि मुझे अब क्या बोलना है. Like in my group discussions, why I failed is, even if मेरे को subject में कुछ नहीं आता होता, तो भी if I was listening to what everyone else said, then I could have summarized it.
Well,
I could have added something about it, and summarizing itself is a big skill for which you can be selected. And people are only observing. In fact, I'll tell you, I've interviewed a lot of people. So we only observe that who is this guy being? How will this person, fit in the bigger world or bigger teams? Will he keep trying to grab attention? Is he a team player? So all your communication, even in few minutes, can communicate all of this. What kind of, are you a solo player, or would you work well in a team, etc. And so therefore I'm saying chasing excellence is not enough in the current world. However good engineer or programmer I am, I would have to deal with others, either my seniors or my peers, or I'll become a program manager. I would have to deal with people and empower them and communicate my point of view, etc. So in all of this, your speaking very good English will come secondary to from what intent are you speaking. And obviously have a clean intent and then speak better. Like my mentor said, that whatever accent you have, you continue. But first is shift the place from where you are coming from. So that is what I would say. And I think another thing I would actually then say is, while speaking, make it engaging in terms of keep thinking, what is the other person looking for? What is the person worrying about? What is the person's objective? And if you can't guess it, then ask it. So, and sometimes ask people, what is that you are looking for, so that I can tailor my answer to exactly match your requirement rather than giving my entire spiel. And a easy thing to remember is getting into other people's shoes. But uske saath, what is more important is, I can't get into others' shoes till I get out of my shoes. So socks फिर भी पहन के चल सकता है, but shoes अपने तो उतारने पड़ेंगे, which means I have to let go my fixed perspective about whatever the issue is. So yeah.
So you a lot of insights about how to be a good communicator. That was nice. I would also like to hear from you. I mean, what strategies or tips, or what would you like to give for them to the learning process itself? So how does one, because you came to a stage where you were talking about facing interviews, but even much before that, the whole your learning process, basically what kind of, because you're an IIT and IIM, so you know how to sit and work at it. So what are the different things you may have adopted to master the language?
See, I think one those things are, word power made easy, etc. So those things did help. But what I would now recommend is one practicing rather than being anxious and tense about. So first thing I would say, by accepting the current reality कि अपनी इंग्लिश अच्छी नहीं है, अपने से नहीं बोला जाता, एंड इंग्लिश मूवी समझ में नहीं आती सबटाइटल के बिना. So accepting the reality, but Basically main shift ये रखना है that I am an unripe fruit rather than defective. So अगर मेरे को इंग्लिश नहीं आती, मेरी थोड़ी गलती है. हाउ जो फैमिली बैकग्राउंड तब था, बट फ्रॉम हेयर ऑनवर्ड्स व्हाट आई डू, दैट इज माय चॉइस. कि अभी भी मैं सीखूं नहीं, प्रैक्टिस नहीं करूं, and then I'll keep cribbing about my past background and my parents, speaking native language. So then that it will not work. So first is that I'm an unripe fruit. So I don't know how to speak English now well, but I can learn. And then second is that this current family background and lack of English expertise was chosen in my life to teach something to me. So make it, to make me realize my ability to surface my potential, to do things that are tough. So taking the story from that place rather than cursing yourself. So instead of cursing the background, appreciating things which your family gave to you, because English nahi di, but family gave a lot of things. So listing them will allow you to come from a clean place. So instead of
take it in stride, take your
and so basically appreciating things in my life rather than cursing myself, because if I curse myself, I'll come from a lower personal power. All the communication or English or even how well you'll learn English while practicing comes from what do you think of yourself. So I'm saying, instead of feeling guilty and criticizing yourself for poor decisions, wrong actions, मेरे को ये करना चाहिए था उस टाइम और लोगों ने ये पढ़ाई कर ली, or inaction, I would say first forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You did what you thought was best. And so I would say now, in the current times, when in addition to whatever maybe programs Mira is offering or someone else is offering, do all of that, but come from a place. So for example, I would recommend people that make a book of accomplishment, make a small something like any kind of a diary or book of accomplishments, and go back in time, date wise, year wise, and write whatever you were proud of. I learned cycling, I learned swimming, I did this or that, small thing or big thing. Make a list of all of them. They will start giving you power to then hold your ground and learn English. Otherwise English will always remain a demon or demon. And you can all, for me it was always a demon till I shifted my intention. And other thing is that learn to go one level deeper and one level higher. So whenever you are communicating with someone, think of that person and yourself from a higher place. And deeper means when this question is being asked, why is this question is being asked? So answer the questioner rather than just the question. So and also remember, so I think this is the basic thought. If you have any other question.
Yeah, so another thing that I wanted to tell you was, so the course that we are doing now for engineers, which is English for engineers, the way we are designing this whole course is, earlier all our spoken English courses were teacher centric, wherein it's more of a teacher teaching some concepts and the student learning. But this time around, what we thought, we have seen over a period of now 9 years, we've been teaching English to students from different backgrounds. And what we've realized is there's a lot of mindset shift that is required. So what we thought was, we will bring in some mindset coaches and we will also bring in some habit coaches, wherein, see, ultimately, this is a long journey. It's not that you can crack it in 1 month, in 2 months. It's basically language, you have to acquire it over a period of time. It's not like math, wherein you sit and do it from morning till night and then you can actually crack it. You have to, it's more like swimming or driving or something, wherein you have to slowly acquire the skill. So we are bringing in, like I said, a habit coach, a mindset coach, wherein it's not just the components of the language learning, but all these elements also, wherein we help them shift the mindset. So from that, some kind of validation from you. Do you think we are on the right path for that?
In fact, I would say these days I have realized is that 80% is the mindset shift. and then balances. And I would actually see if there are people who can read well, but have this problem speaking. For them, I am just telling that ये सब fear of failure होता है. That my English is fine, but मैं लिख भी सकता हूँ, but मेरे से बोला नहीं जाता. So I'm saying fear of failure, ridicule and embarrassment, or fear of being left alone, उसको छोड़ दो, because we think that सामने वाला हमको judge कर रहा है. But very soon, one day you will realize that हर कोई अपनी कहानी में खोया है. किसी को कुछ नहीं फर्क पड़ता और कोई क्या करे. Everyone is worrying कि am I coming out well? Am I presenting myself well? Am I doing whatever I am supposed to do? किसी को कुछ लेना देना नहीं आपसे. So therefore, it is important that you don't worry about being embarrassed by not speaking perfect English. And probably you will never speak perfect English. Like my wife, she really cringes. Like we go to workshops across the world. So वहाँ पे I will think in Hindi, then translate in English, and speaking to people whose first language is Greek. So but मैंने कहा कोई नहीं यार, हमको फिर भी लोग बुलाते हैं, पैसे देते हैं, or because we are teaching them something deeper. So that is another thing I found, that where you are coming from is useful across the language, and everyone can feel whether you are in their team when you are speaking. So be in people's team is what my final message would be. Any other thought, question?
No, so last bit of wisdom from you. So we have 2 minutes to go before this interview closes. I just want last bit of wisdom from you for our students.
So
I
think
the takeaway for me from this interview is you were struggling and you had confidence issues, you had complex, inferiority complex. But come on, you made it. You getting into IIT, getting into IIM, authoring a book, mentoring and coaching CEOs and CFOs. It's not a small feat that you have achieved. So, I mean, the story itself speaks that, you can be unstoppable. Not knowing the language should not stop you.
Yeah, and I would say that accepting who you are and then practicing, but shifting your orientation to contributing to others without sacrificing yourself. That priceless contribution is the core theme I have found.
Rohan's giver mode.
Yeah, so I found that uske bade fayde hote hain. Wherever you go, you think what value can I add in this person's life without patronizing and without being a doormat.
Great.
And then you will make a lot of friends, and uske baad na communication. For example, English communication, even in current times, on a WhatsApp, how do you send a request will make a difference. But आपने request ढंग से construct नहीं भी करी, but if you have a reputation of adding value to people will come to help you.
Excellent, excellent. So thanks a lot, Rohan. It's been a great interview. I'm sure our students are going to learn quite a lot from this. And it's been an inspiring story, and I appreciate that the time that you've taken.
Thank you. Thank you for calling me, and I also felt very good sharing what some of the issues or complexes I had.
Thanks.
And maybe my intention is that people do not fall in the same ditches where I did. You create your own fresh ditches.
Thank you.